All right, everybody, what is going on? This is your boy Trey, aka Ken Trey Game, and welcome back to another Fatal Fury video. Unfortunately, this is going to be one of those positive videos, and I really don't intend for this video to come off positive, but at the same time I feel like negative in that way. I try to be as positive as I possibly can, but as most people who know me should understand by now, I also try to keep it real. One thing I don't do is sugarcoat things at all. I will never shield and tell you a false story or a fib to make something look good, but I'll also never completely bash something unless it's justified, right? I'm not just going to say something's bad and delete all the good. I try to be as neutral as possible, open-minded as possible, and I try to be as fair as possible. This is how I teach when I try to coach players to be better, and it's also the same when I talk about certain things and certain topics like this. So believe me, I'm going to try to be as positive as I can when I talk about this, but I really don't think there's a way I can really spin it to be in a very good light. And basically what I want to do is I want to talk about, I guess, a little bit of season 2 of Fatal Fury, which I did a video day 1, so this is kind of going to be one of those, but for season 3. And I'm going to talk about what season 3 did to make those things worse. So you can already tell what the type of tone of this video is going to be. Again, I'm going to be as honest as I possibly can about this, a little bit as I possibly can. I've gotten some feedback from other players too when I talk about this too. So again, if I come up with the negative Nancy, that is not the intention, but I think at this point I can't really prevent it from sounding that way. But I'm going to be honest, my receptions of season 3 at the moment, and I'm going to tell you why I started off. I read the patch notes, and you guys know if you watch my latest videos, played in tournament, had the sparring sessions, the discussions I had, where I get my video breakdown of Jenny, what she needed. I told you guys I was very optimistic. I liked the patch. I liked what I saw. It looked like it was going to be the healthiest meta I've ever seen this game have. I was very excited. I was ready to grind. I was ready to play. My passion was reignited, especially reading the Jenny changes. I had so many ideas and things for how stuff was going to work out and play out. And if certain things work, I was going to be happy. I have avidly been on Twitter and the Discord talking about how I think she's a mid-tier character now. I said it in the video and I was streaming. I feel like that she could potentially be mid-tier. A lot of people thought she was worse. I felt like they just weren't seeing the vision. The SPG changes would help her a lot. A lot of things getting nerfed would have helped her a lot, become more viable in the meta. I felt like a lot of her buffs could do a lot more than people thought for the character. And I promise you this isn't going to be a B Jenny rant video. However, we are going to cover this character because, spoiler alert, nothing changed with her. She's still a bottom 3 character, sadly. So that's very big letdown. But the difference from this season compared to season 2 is that, at least in season 2, before Karate showed up, I actually genuinely did feel like season 2 was a very good meta. We saw a lot of variety early on, a lot more characters we were able to pick in tournaments. We've seen usual, like a couple of the common faces pop up in top 8, so we were getting used to seeing those one oddball characters. It was to the point for a time where nobody could actually come up with a consistent top 5 until Mr. Karate showed up and actually warped the meta so much that it basically became Karate, Billy Big, and whoever else people decided to play, to fight that meta. But until then, I felt like it was a really healthy meta. It's just that for me personally, Jenny got shot so hard that she couldn't play in the meta. She had no place in the meta. So that's kind of one of the things that led to me not liking the meta. But overall, I can agree that while some changes were hard, it took me a while to get used to. I do feel like season 2 overall was a pretty healthy meta up until Karate showed up. And I don't think anyone would really disagree with that. But I can't say that for season 3 at all. I feel like season 3 is just a case overall where not only is Jenny still in the same position she's in, but I feel like Season 3, I don't think anyone would disagree with this, Season 3 just is it's not even a glimmer of hope for this meta. It's not even good at all. Like, Season 3 is just bad overall. And I'm going to explain why I feel that way and why my motivation has shot overnight. Like, the moment I got home to this patch, every hope I have for the season being the best one ever went out the window. First of all, I guess I could go on the lab real quick and show you the Jenny changes before I explain the rest of the stuff real quick. So as far as the patch goes for Jenny anyway, which is the character I play, you all should be you guys should know very well at this point, be familiar with. The patches she got, they're basically very simple. They buff the hitbox of this move here. They increase the proximity recognition of this move here, and like her close D, this right here, and they buff the damage of her Rev Hind, so it hits harder on both hits, and they reduce the pushback distance on her crouch light here, so when this hits on hit, it pushes back less. I just there reading those patches, and I'm like, those actually do kind of make a bit of a difference for the character. I think it'll be bigger than people think. My thought was initially with the power creep that I'm seeing a lot of characters get, reading the patch, a lot of high tiers and stuff, and other characters got nerfed, especially Billy. So I'm thinking those characters are going to get hit, so she's going to go up in the tier list just off of that, especially since she's only getting buffs. Not only that, but those buffs should lead to certain interactions that I have in my mind that I want to allow, and if they work, she's certainly a mid tier. And on top of that, the SPG changes were also huge for her too, because I feel like, again, I've always been saying that I feel like Excel ratio is Jenny's best ratio. However, she couldn't play it in the last meta because final ratio was just such a strong ratio that she couldn't afford to play it, because running Excel ratio in certain matches was just consistently, if it wasn't master dependent, you were just going to burn out before you killed your opponent, and then they just killed you anyway through final. So you didn't have the meter efficiency to kill him. But with the SPG changes, she actually could afford to play her strongest ratio and not die by saving meter. So I didn't have a lot of hope for her. I had a lot of hope for the patch. It looked like if things played out how they were going to play out in my mind, it was going to be a really good patch. Unfortunately, things did not turn out that way. So let's start with the close B proximity range buff for Jenny. It didn't do anything. And that's just going to be the theme with Jenny's buffs overall. They don't change the character at all. None of these buffs she got change anything in your action. So basically, it's still going to be one hit. Like, the proximity, it doesn't really, you still have to be like kissing distance for it to work, as you can see. So that basically didn't change at all. She's not going to be able to get more than 2 of these, even on block. I put to the block. They're still like, that's on Rev. They're still pushed out too far. Like, I have to still run up, and that still leads to my opponent checking me with a jab if I don't do this, right? So basically, this interaction didn't change at all. It's still the same interaction. So basically, this proximity buff, it didn't really make too much difference for the character. She still has to be like right in their face to do it, and not only that, does she have to be like really close, but it's not like she can link more than one of them without having to move. But even on hit and block, the interaction still changed. So that buff was basically a nothing burger. Her light kick, having reduced pushback on it, it doesn't do anything for her either. Like, it's just like, as you can see, she could only get 2 hits last patch, and she could still only get 2 hits. It doesn't change this interaction at all. This still works the same way. She doesn't get any more light jabs off it. And originally what I thought was, because the pushback is reduced on hit, maybe she could do something like this, you know? But that, like, that doesn't work though. So either way, even though they reduce the pushback on this, she's still gonna only be able to get this, this, and this.
Come on.
So basically, her light confirm is still going to be shit off that. It's still the same interaction again, and that's going to be a trend you see with this character. The interactions are still the same no matter the buffs that they tried to give her. So effectively, she hadn't gotten buffed at all, or they gave her buffs that were completely useless and didn't fix anything. It's going to be the same thing with her crouch C here. They said they expanded hitbox, but as you can see, like, she can still only link 2 of those, which is the same as last patch, and she still has to be pretty fucking close for it to matter. Like, it's still pretty close to your opponent. It's not making like a big difference as something like her actual light punch buff got last season. That's actually a significant difference. It does make a big difference. Not this. She still has to get pretty fucking close. So it's not even a noticeable difference with the character. Like, and the last buff she got was this getting a damage buff on the first 2 hits, and that's literally the only real buff she got. She effectively just does more damage on this move here, which, as I explained in the last video, it still gets higher but defend easily, get killed anyway, so that was not really an issue. It's basically an issue, a buff that she got that didn't really fix a lot of her core problems, and the buffs that she didn't do anything for her. So she's still basically still the same character. So any hope I have of her being mid-tier goes out the window, because everything I thought was possible with this patch and changes, it didn't. Like, again, she doesn't get, she still gets one of these, oh my gosh, she still has to walk up and risk getting checked with a jab off this move. This hitbox is still abysmally bad, and this chain changes, her light kicks change, no interaction whatsoever. It's still bad. It's still a bad character, basically, which is insane, because on top of that, her core issues are still the same. She still gets pushed away by Revguard. Her heavy pressure is still shot because she can get checked through it. That's still a thing, even though they supposedly removed the 4-frame jab and stuff. She still can get checked through her pressure. Again, Revguard still deletes her pressure. She still does not have projectile invulnerability on this, so she still gets hit by Fireball, which, again, she is still the only character in the game that has that nerf, which is a very stupid nerf that SNK still has not reverted. So she still can get popped in the face by a kind soccer ball or anybody throwing a Fireball on her through her super, you know, still have to deal with that. And like this right here, her Far C, which has consistently gotten, it's consistently been a thing where she's gotten counter hits or wild punishes with this, and then it'll just completely whiff the punish, and then she'll get wild punches. That's still a thing that happens. So basically, they gave her a bunch of nothing burger buffs, so they're not even buffs. She's still the same character, and a lot of her core problems that plagued her last season still exist. Right? So this would be the part where it's just like, people would say it's a good patch. Maybe I'm just bitching because my character was still shit, which I've heard in season 2. And that's fine, which I can admit when that's the case, but that's not the case this season, because the problem is a lot of other characters who were either mid or low tier characters, they still have, like, they have hardly changed at all. Like, Jaehoon has gotten the most buffs out of any character this patch, and he is still the worst character in the game. How you manage to buff him so much and he's still the worst character in the game is insane, right? How, like, and not only that, I'll get to what really makes this patch bad. Trust me, I'm getting there. I'm starting to build up, but you're starting to see a trend with the mid and low tier characters still being mid and low tier characters. Either they got changes that made them basically the same. The only character I think that really actually changed are like Joe, and Joe is actually a meta character now. He's actually violent metal. He's one of the like meta picks for sure this season. He's actually cracked. Ken got buffed to be decent now, and I believe Coach Steve seems to think that Kevin is a lot better and juiced up, so that's fine. Some characters to go up, but overall, a lot of the either mid or low tier characters, they're either still very bad or they're still the same characters because they got buffs that didn't really address their core problem or didn't change them at all. And then you have characters like Mai, who were considered mid, who actually got hit and became worse, and so on and so forth. But what makes this patch really bad is the fact that, like, not to mention Geese, he's still a bottom tier character. Like, Geese got no good changes. He's like arguably bottom 2 right now. Like, nothing happened to him. He's still a bad character. Mary didn't get any changes, so she's still a shit character. So you see what I mean? So the patches keep doing things like that. where these characters still remain the same. But not only that, they actually buffed the top tier characters. Mr. Karate has been the hot topic of discussion forever. Everybody has been asking for that character to get shot. They said, kill his stance. That stance is a problem. Not only did they not change the stance with the nerfs, when they nerfed the damage route, but the stance is still effectively the same stance. He still had it forever. It still lingers way too long. The command grab is still a problem. The overhead still had the same reach, or still like a 50-50 from mid-screen. But not only that, not only is his stance still a problem and still in existence and a threat, they buffed his pressure, which used to be the problem with Karate. The whole thing with Karate before was that he was kind of lackluster everywhere else, but his stance was so strong that it made him top tier because it was that broken, right? Not only is the stance still broken, but he actually has better pressure in neutral now. So now he became way better. He became a character who he went from being top 1 to being top 1. How do you make that character better than he was in season 2 when he was the main problem that people complain about? It's like when you do stuff like that, okay, I want you to understand what I'm trying to say here, guys. When you do stuff like that, you're basically spitting in your community's face, like you don't care what they have to say. Why do you take the best character in the game and make him worse? And then you take the characters who are mid or low tier, you either don't address them to where they're still the same character, or you nerf them. Like, how do you still have Jae-hoon being your worst character in the game, still have Geese being bottom 2, you don't change Mary at all, you give Jenny buffs that do nothing for her, so she's still a bottom 3 character, you nerf Mai, but you buff Mr. Karate, you give Mr. Big a slap on the wrist because he is still a top 5 character. He got one nerf that granted is kind of significant, but it was a slap on the wrist. Mr. Big is still top 5. You buffed Preacher, even though it looked like she got nerfed, but I promise you Preacher got buffed. Because what they actually did is they actually nerfed a lot of her stuff, but not only did they buff her heavy punches damage, they actually made it to where now every single fireball melee Preacher gets is a 50-50. She does not even go to stance anymore. She can 50-50 you from any fireball setup. She is literally better this patch. She was already a problem. That was not a character you need to buff. Her mix was the problem with that character in the first place, and now she can do it anywhere on the screen. So Preacher got buffed. She was already a problem character, you buffed her. Again, work with me now. Karate, who was already top 1, he is way better than last patch. Preacher was already a problem. She is way better than last patch. Mr. Big was already a problem. He got a slap on the wrist, so he is still top tier. Gato is another character who got a slap on the wrist. He got away with murder. He is still top tier this patch. Do you guys see what I'm saying? The only 2 characters that he really hit who were up there, at least top tier, was Billy. Billy got shot. They killed Billy. They hurt him bad, and then they killed Hokuzumaru really bad. Like Hokuzumaru was like basically out of the meta. He got destroyed. But the other characters, no, they either got better or they got nerfs that did nothing. But they didn't do shit for the low tier characters. So, you know what I'm saying? It's like this patch overall was a nothing burger. The only character who really got buffed like that again are Joe, who is significantly better now, and Ken, who got buffed. To be pretty much better right now. He's definitely one of the winners of the patch, but Joe is probably the biggest winner of the entire match, right? So you see the problem? It's like they're doing what Tekken did with Tekken Season 2, where they took the problem of the Tekken Season 1 and they made them worse. They, instead of throwing water on the flames and listening to what the community had to say and their feedback, it's like SNK took gasoline and threw it on the fire. Like, what do we all say? Please nerf Mr. Karate. What did SNK do? They buff him. Preacher needs to be nerfed. What do they do? They buff her. You see what I'm saying? This is no longer a problem of, wow, Jenny got shot. This meta is just not for me. Although the meta is actually really good, my character can't play the meta, so I don't like the meta very much. I'm going to sit this one down and hope for better. No, this is a problem now that affects everybody. Because this is not, there's a lot of riding meta, Jenny just sucks, so I'm gonna have to work a little bit harder. No, this is we're taking the problems that affect everybody in the game, make it worse. And that is literally the fastest way to collect a community. Listen, the SNK community is already very small for this game. We don't have a lot of players, all right? We do not have a lot of players. Anybody saying otherwise is coping. Again, I'm being realistic. We don't have a lot of players. So the worst thing that you can do as a developer, if you want people to continue to play your game or the community that you already have, you should probably take advice. If you literally have pro players or competitors and casuals alike telling you this character is the problem, he is ruining the game for everybody else, the last thing you should do is buff that character. In fact, the last thing you should do when it comes to the top tiers that are very complained about, especially Karate, is make them more of a menace in the next season. We literally said, we need more variety. Please buff the lower and mid-tier characters that can compete. We said shoot Karate. We said kill Billy. We said kill Mr. Big. Those three had to go. They only shot Billy. They made the other problems worse. How do you fumble the ball that bad? I have no idea. In fact, I've spoken to a couple competitors about this stuff. I talked to Ferno about it. He said this meta is absolutely cooked. This season was literally a nothing burger. They made Karate worse, and he said he's not sent through another season of 6 months of Mr. Karate. Or worse Karate than that. Crumb said the same thing. A lot of other players said the same thing. I know Nash said he's not feeling the patch. He said Jaehoon didn't get enough. Because he's right, because he's still ass. Nash don't even really play with the game. He was waiting for another patch. This patch is not good. He doesn't like it either. He's playing other games. He's going to be on Tokon. Shit, Avatar just dropped today. I'm going to be playing that because, it's getting to the point now where it's like SNK, it's not just like, this is just not my meta anymore for my character. Maybe next season's good. Now it's getting to the point where it's starting to look like SNK is just not listening to what people have to say at all. It's like they're spitting in our face. Again, this is giving me flashbacks to Tekken Season 2, where it's like, fuck what you guys have to say, we're gonna do what we want to. And that's not how you're supposed to go about things. I understand you don't listen to what everybody says in the community, but when there is a genuine problem affecting your game that constantly pops up from everybody, competitive and casual alike, and you do the opposite of what they say, you are dooming your game. Like, again, this game was already small, all right? This game was incredibly niche. You make it worse, you do shit like this. And again, I'm trying to be, again, open as fair as possible. Like I said, this is gonna come off like I'm being a negative Nancy, but at the same time, it has to be this way because I do want to see the game to see it. I want to see the best for this game, but this rate is not gonna, you're gonna drive off the rest of the players you have left. And they chose the absolute worst time to drop a patch that was this bad because this is Avatar release day and the Tokon beta is tomorrow. So like, let me paint you guys a picture for everybody who thinks I'm just being a hard ass with SNK right now. If you were someone who's been complaining about Karate forever, and you see that he got buffed, and you see that Preacher got buffed, and all these top tier characters are already a problem, they're still alive or better, and let's say the character you play either got shot on, or they're already mid or low tier, right? Or they didn't get changes that fixed them at all to be able to play the meta, and you basically see that you're still going to be the same meta, because Karate is more alive than ever. That just means SWC, if they keep leaving the pass like this is gonna be nothing but Karates again. Nothing but Bigs again. We're gonna see nothing but Gatos again. We might see some Joes. You know, we might see Joe and all that. Billy won't be there, he's gone, right? If you see that, and you are under the impression you're gonna be going to another 6 months of a meta like that, are you actually gonna stick with this game or are you gonna move on to something else? You're probably gonna leave, right? That's the point I'm getting at here. They are literally shooting themselves in the foot with this type of patch. Like, how can you possibly do the exact opposite of what everybody else said? Now, I'll give them credit where credit is due. The SPG change was great. They addressed that. That final SPG was way too strong. Fixing the rev discount and making it reverse was a really good change because now Excel Ratio can actually be played. Final Ratio is not going to be the go-to pick for everybody. And Flux Ratio is now once again viable. All three ratios can be played again. Depending on your character, you will probably select 1 to 3 ratios, or your playstyle, you pick another 1 to 3 ratios. Like, again, have been an Excel Jetty player forever. In tournament, I play Excel Ratio Jetty. In rank, I play Excel Ratio Jetty. And there are matchups where I'll pick Flux or Final. I play all three. It just depends, right? I've never been stuck to Final, and I don't really think Final really fits the character, right? But now with this meta, fixing SPGs, I do feel like I can finally play Final and not be shooting myself in the foot so hard as I did last season. I feel like that was a great change. Stuff like that is fine. But then you take like the changes that they did with the balance patch, and just shits on the good stuff that they do. It's like this patch is more negative than good. And again, like I come off at the negative Nancy, but at the same time, if I don't say it, nobody will. I'm going to like speak out against this stuff. This is the problem. Like, and you again, fanning the flames of the fire, throwing gasoline. They didn't take water. That's the problem. Chasing all players. We already have a small player base. And do you know what that leads to when you do shit like this? Those players who've only played the game, who have been down with their game, trying to give it a chance, trying to give you hope. You know what they're gonna happen now? When someone asks those type of players who once played your game or try to stick it out, and they leave for other stuff, and somebody may come to them and ask them about the game, do you think they're gonna give them a good recommendation for the game? Probably not. And then the word of this game not being a good game is going to spread even more. This is basically like, again, this is giving me very huge flashbacks to Tekken Season 2. That's what this feels like. Like, I cannot possibly spin it in any other light. I've been trying to be, I give them credit whenever they can. Whenever somebody asks me about this game, I always be as honest as I can. Ask like, what are your preferences? What are you looking for in the game? If you're trying to be a competitor, you want to take it seriously, then absolutely play this game. There's tournaments every day. There's a lot of money in this game. If you're trying to go big, this is the type of game you want to get into. If you're a casual, you're not trying to sweat too hard or really grinding rank, then I would wait for a sale, get this game with some friends, and run lives with your friends. You know, I am open as much as I can be with this game. Like, what do you really want me to tell people about this patch? Like, and I've had friends who ask me, tell me I make the game look fun, they want to play it. I tell them, because I know how they are, like, no, you're not gonna like this game, you're not gonna return the game, stick to that game, I'll be honest. You know, I will never, this is one thing I will not be. I will never be a shill for a game. I will never kiss a game's ass and tell you there's nothing wrong with the game and you should be getting the game. Because no, that to me is dishonest. I'm not going to tell you to buy a game that you probably won't like, and then you end up getting mad at me because I told you to get the game that you won't like. No, I'm going to be honest with you. If you tell me your preferences, or I know the person you are, I'm going to tell you, no, don't get this game. It's not going to be for you. You'll want to play this game, you don't want to play that game. But I'm also not going to be somebody who just going to straight up tell you, no, this game is horrible, you should never play it. Because it could genuinely be a good game, you might like it. Alright? I'm going to be as honest as possible and give you everything you know about the game, and exactly what you want to look for, what your preferences are, so you can buy the game. It's going to be very hard for me to recommend this game to a lot of people. Like, casuals find this game really hard to play. Let's get that straight. They find it really hard to play. So it's really hard to recommend it to casuals. And in fact, I have a very hard time teaching casuals to play the game, even though, like, I have a lot of pupils that I try to teach this game to, and they get better at the game. But at the end of the day, it's still very hard for casuals to get into this game because it's not an easy game to play. Right? So it's already hard. So what do I really tell competitors? Like, yeah, there's a lot of money, but at the same time, I gotta be honest with them. No, well, there's a character who's running the meta, who's warping the game, and he just got buffed. And a lot of the characters that got nerfed, or it's really hard to compete against him. So unless you're playing this character or have a character that's around him, you're gonna have a very hard time competing. And that was gonna be straight up. And if you say otherwise, then I mean, obviously that's your opinion. It's fine. Obviously, you agree to disagree. But at the same time, I gotta be honest and tell you how it is, man. They really fucked this patch up. Like they fucked it up. Like that, like buffing karate should be the biggest sign that they fucked this up. I don't think anybody with a brain who's been watching EWC can understand why it's a problem, because he was all over the fucking place and he just got buffed. Anybody with a brain knows Preacher was a problem. Anybody with a brain knows that Preacher was a problem. And like, just being able to mix everywhere is just insanely stupid. Like, they make it very hard to defend this game. I just know for me personally, like, I tried to be positive. I really did. The patch notes, they were so enticing that I really gave them hope. And my expectations are very low. But I read the patch notes and I was like, this looks like a really good change. And when it dropped, it did not meet my expectations. In fact, it was it took what Season 2 did wrong and doubled down. And I streamed this earlier and lapped the patch. I lapped the patch, went over stuff. I had a discussion with my entire chat. There are people who I never even met or seen in my stream who joined my chat, and they agreed with me. So I know it's not just me. If I got, and a lot of pro players join my chats, by the way, and stream. A lot of pro players join my chat. If they are saying what I'm saying and starting talking about why this patch is bad, and casuals alike are literally starting to come into my chat, and I don't even talk to them. Right? Never met them. And they're saying these things. And mind you, I am not somebody who again, I will never kiss the ass of a game if it's doing me wrong, but I will never shit on a game when they're doing right. I will always play the middleman. I will give credit where credit is due, and I will not give it where it's not due. I spoke as honest as I could, and I made sure to tell chat, if y'all disagree with anything I'm saying, please let me know. They seem to be in agreement with what I said. Pro players and casuals alike. So I know it's not just me. The only difference is, again, I'm probably gonna be the only one that's gonna speak up on this shit. Cause I will. Cause again, I do want to see this game succeed, but at this rate, it's just not doing what it needs to do. It's just taking what's wrong with the game and the problems you do and making it worse. In my humbly honest opinion. Like, there's no reason that you buff characters like Jetty and Jehu and they still remain in the same tier they've been in. Like, there's no way you do that. There is absolutely no excuse for buffing top tier characters that people said you should have hit, especially Mr. Karate. Why they did that is, again, beyond me. That was like probably the biggest fumble, because now you're dealing with Karate for a whole another 6 months, because SNK does not drop patches mid-season. They don't do that. They wait till an entire season is over, then they drop a big quote-unquote patch that's supposed to warp quote-unquote the meta and shift character variety quote-unquote, and then we get shit like this happening. If you see this happen like for the second time, like, are you actually gonna stick around for season 4? No, you're not. Like, you're not gonna sit here for like, I mean, unless you really enjoy the game, and there are gonna be people that do it and stick it out, and that's completely fine. Like, kudos to you. Like, that's your preference. But most people are probably not gonna stick with this game, especially when you have competitors like Tokon and Avatar out there right now that have just dropped on the same day that you dropped this shitty patch. Like come on. Like, we have to change something if you really want to. Like, it's not even about, forget getting new players in right now. Let's cut that out right now. We need to focus on keeping the players we got right now. If you're really trying to keep the current player base you have, you got to do better. This was terrible. This was absolutely a dumpster fire. Like, to sum this patch up, it was basically nothing burger. The fact that again, problem characters either got buffed or stayed in their position, and weaker characters either didn't move or got worse. It's backwards. It's actually backwards. Again, it comes off as SNK not listening to their players, doing the opposite of what they asked for, and like moving on whatever they want to do. Again, this is the same thing that Tekken did, and they caught a lot of hell for this shit. They eventually got their shit together in season 3 and started doing what people actually were asking for. You know, I would like SNK to actually start doing the right things. Like, seriously, we have been like, how do you go from the good reception of season 2 when people have told you that they loved seeing the variety in tournament, it was very refreshing, to killing that off immediately in season 3? How do you kill that off at the end of season 2 and double down on season 3? Like, did you not understand that people enjoyed seeing multiple characters in tournament? Like, why are you buffing the one character that killed that variety and made the meta stale? You know what I'm saying? Why aren't you actually giving the other characters an opportunity to thrive in the meta? Like, I hope I'm making sense when I say that stuff. Again, my intent again is not to be positive, it's negative, but again, I have to call out the fuck ups where there are fuck ups. Like, it's basically season 2 glorified. You know, it's like season 2 on steroids, basically what it feels like. And again, there could be some rising stars in the patch, but overall, and the problem too is, like, I do think some characters got good. Again, like Joe, I feel like he's a meta character now. Ken got better, and I think sleeper characters, Kim Dong-Won, I think he got some decent buffs to actually make him go up in tier by a decent margin. Actually, I think he's potentially a high tier character now, you know, in my opinion. But all that type of stuff goes out the window because they buffed Mr. Karate. The meta, basically the variety killer, they buffed him. They made him better. Like, Big is still a threat in the meta. He's still top like 2 or 3. You know, Gato is still up there in top 5. So all those characters who potentially could shine and got buffed, or they're just gonna get drowned out by the broken characters who they've also made stronger for some reason. Like, that is a problem. like that's a problem, man. But that's just my honest opinion on the meta right now. I really wanted to make this video. Trust me, I ranted about this on stream, and I assure you that I've spoken here today a lot calmer than I was listening. Because stream, I didn't hold anything back. I let it be known how I felt about this patch immediately. Like, I always do these types of reviews when it comes to the season, and I'm willing to admit that season 2 was really good up until Karate came out. It did, as I told people, if you asked me about season 2 and how I thought, I would tell them that I think overall season 2 was better than season 1. When Karate hit, it went down on a downward spiral. But for him, I believe that was probably the healthiest season that we had for the game. I just feel like my character, Jenny, after she got shot in the foot and gutted and left to die, I just felt like the meta wasn't meant for me because it wasn't her meta. She just wasn't able to play meta. But outside of my character blinding my view of the season, I think season 2 was a very good meta overall. I don't think people would disagree with that. I think it was a healthier meta overall. I don't see that with season 3 though. Again, like, I don't view season 3 as a meta where I think season 3 is good, I just feel like my character can't compete. No, I think season 3 is a shit season overall. Again, I think the changes I listed are going to affect everybody. I think it just kills off variety of the meta overall. Like, let's make the problem character stronger and yada yada. You've already heard what I have to say, right? Like, Rick might be a cool character, you know. I think he's a hard character to play. I tried him out. I think he's pretty cool. He's just not my character. His combo scheme is very weird, hard to figure out. But they buffed Karate, so like, which is also let me just say that is a terrible marketing strategy too. If you're trying to promote season 3, the last thing you should do is buff the character of your last season pass. If anything, Rick should be the one who's busted and not Karate. If you're trying to sell season 3, why do you have the season 2 character being the meta pick? Why is he still number 1? No, why is he top 0 is my point. You see what I'm getting at? Because then people are just gonna buy season 2. If Karate is the guy to beat, why would I waste my time on Rick, especially if he's mid? You know what I mean? Poor marketing decision. If anything, that should give you more of a reason to actually do what the community told you and shoot that character. You shot Billy, should have shot Karate. I don't know why you left Big alive. You gave him a slap on the wrist again, you know. Like, that's very stupid to me. Now, why am I gonna play Rick when Karate is a better character? Why would I play any possible future character that could possibly weaken Karate when Mr. Big is there? Not only that, but they left Krauser alone, and Krauser is a very strong character that people are sleeping on. He got no changes this patch, while some top tier characters fell. So this character only went up this season, and again, he's a part of season 2. So we got Krauser, and we have Mr. Karate season 2. What reason do players have to buy season 3 besides they did like Rick? Competitively, you wouldn't buy season 3. You would stick with season 2 because the tournament winner just got buffed. You know, the most busted characters, the problem, just got buffed. Krauser didn't get any changes. There's like 2 characters in there who could be serious meta threats right now. Why would I buy season 3? So again, it doesn't make sense from a balancing standpoint. It doesn't make sense from a health of the game standpoint. It doesn't make sense from a marketing standpoint. You know what I'm saying? There's just so many places where this patch falls flat, and it's very saddening to see because, again, I went into this patch extremely excited. I had a lot of hope. I went on Twitter and said that I feel like Jenny at least is the mid-tier character. But unfortunately, I spoke too soon. As sad as that is. You know, I thought that certain things worked in my mind that I want to try out. No. In fact, it's funny because right when I was going to stream and lab her and try to see if things worked the way I thought they were, like, Ferno literally sent me a gif with the, you know, the hand on the shoulder meme with the dude smiling, and he literally told me before I went live, he said, like, yeah, the moment I saw she didn't get like rev links off of X, Y, and Z button, I knew it was cooked, and I was like, don't tell me that, bro. Like, she's got to have something. Still trying to be optimistic, and then I lab shit, and then I find that she hasn't changed at all. Not a lick. And I'm like, oh my god. It's like I tried to be optimistic, and Ferno told me. He tried to tell me. And it's funny because even before I went live, Ferno was telling me about the patch and how it's literally worse, and it's gonna be 6 more months of karate and Preach is buff and yada yada yada. And I'm like, and I didn't think he was wrong for a second. I'm like, okay, well, maybe I'm right about Jenny being better. You know, maybe I can see a world where she's better. I mean, and again, I feel like the only thing that makes Jenny somewhat better is literally just the SPG changes. Her, the character, she's still not good. It's just crazy. That obviously sucks. But I could say that about a lot of characters this patch. Like, it's insane. Again, for a recap, it's insane that Jae-hoon is still ass. It's insane that Mary got no changes. Like, how do you explain? How do you not change Mary but you buff karate? Like, does that make any kind of... I need y'all to understand my train of thought here. It's like SNK is working backwards. They're working in the opposite direction. They are digging themselves deeper into the shitter. They need to be digging out, but they're, instead of like getting ladder and climbing out, they are taking a drill and going further down to the core of the earth until they hit the core of the earth and actually burn the entire game to the ground. That's what they're doing right now. But yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna have people disagree with me. People are gonna say I'm hating or whatever you want to say. But as always, with these type of discussions, I don't mind a little controversy as you expected. So please say how you feel. If you agree, go ahead. If you don't agree, feel free to voice it and explain. And I have open mind. I'll try to respond if I can, or if not, or if you're just being a dick, I'm just gonna not respond to you at all. But you know, just voice your concern. If you agree, just let me know, man. But as far as I know, the competitive player that I've talked to and the casuals that I've talked to and the people in the stream that I have had conversations to when going over the patch, they seem to be in agreement with me that SNK fucked up big time. They fumbled hard. So I hope they get their shit together. I really do, because my patience is worn thin. It's at the point where I have, and I hate to say it, I have no more faith in the company. They just don't seem to know how to do balance patches correctly at all. Like they either do good and they fuck it up, or they fuck it up and they double down at this point. Like, that's all I got to figure out today. I'm sorry I had to be on such a negative tone, and I really did try to be positive with this patch, but I don't have any hope left. Avatar dropped. I will be playing that. Will I still be playing season 3 of Seed the Wolves? I will say this: I am partnered up with the Red Fox for the little invitational for SWZ, so I still have to play in that. So I still have to play the game. But as far as me like grinding the game as much as I thought it was going to be, I really don't know. Especially for Avatar around the corner, I've been waiting for that game a lot. And a patch like this just makes me want to play Tekken even more. It's really hard to restrict this game, and I really do hate when I have to feel like I need to put the game down again and take a break. Cause I really do want to grind and rank up, but it's shit like this where it's like, why bother when SNK doesn't know what they're doing? You know, like I'm not gonna sit here and subject myself to a game I don't enjoy. Now there will be players who will know a game I ask and continue to play it tough it out. I'm not one of them, I tell you that for a fact. If I don't enjoy something, I'm gonna leave. So will I stay here? It's pending, because as much as I hated season 2 changes for Jenny, it did overall make me a stronger player with her. I've become a lot stronger playing with the character. I've become a much better player because I've actually was forced to think super hard to play a lot of opponents, and a lot of her bad matchups that made me a stronger player overall. A lot of people talk to me about that and tell me that they've noticed a way bigger improvements with me compared to season 1, and I do attribute that to her being nerfed the way she was, which had to make me work a lot harder as a competitor in order to be able to maintain the placement that I got with her in tournament and on ranked and in the sets that I have. So it overall did make me better, but I always tell people that stuff was not easy. I assure you I worked my ass off, and it was doing those things was very stressful, and it's gotten to the point I've kind of gotten used to doing it just because of the player that it's made me become. I mean, so there's a possibility I could still potentially be playing the game, I guess, casually, but I don't count on it. Writing text to people and stuff like that to help them prepare for tournament, I probably don't mind doing that as much, but will I be grinding the game? Probably no. My content, if I continue to play this game, will probably just be me running sets with other players or other streamers or competitors, and probably just having talks like this or dropping guides for season 3, because I really do enjoy the game, but I really do want to see it succeed. But right now it's just a very dark time for this game at the moment. They're fucking up bad, to put it bluntly, and they need to get their shit together. But alright guys, that's all I got to say for you guys. I don't know what my next video is going to be. I'm going to be playing Avatar, so Avatar will be hitting the channel at some point if I actually figure out how to enjoy it and actually like the game. I'm going to be going back to Tekken for a while too. I'm playing that again, and there's still a potential for Fatal Fury games to make it on the channel. but we'll see where the future lies. But adios, everybody. I will catch you next time when I see you again.